Meet 5 living fossils from Earth. These species have endured ice ages, earthquakes, and asteroids over millions of years to be able to walk and swim on Earth today. In his groundbreaking book On the Origin of Species, written in 1859, the father of evolution, Charles Darwin, was the first to use the term living fossil. He used it to describe modern species that resemble extinct species that once lived on Earth. Here are the 5 living fossils from Earth. 1. Nautilus. Few species, including nautiluses, can claim to have seen both the extinction and resurgence of dinosaurs. These prehistoric cephalopods, which evolved into sea giants some 500 million years ago, owe their ability to survive to their built-in defenses. Due to a fleshy trapdoor protecting the delicate body inside, nautiluses are the only cephalopods to have a completely enclosed shell. At first glance, a nautilus could seem like a snail floating on the water's currents without any fins or limbs to direct it. But to move through the water, it needs a water jet. A nautilus may pump and suck in surrounding water through a siphuncle, a canal that connects live tissue to internal shell chambers, enabling forward and backward movement. The nautilus ascends and descends using the same technique. After releasing water from the shell, it gets more buoyant and rises. As it draws in more water, it sinks. Although their distinctive design has allowed them to survive for millions of years, they are currently in danger of going extinct due to hunters who are fishing for their exquisite shells. 2. Crocodiles. Crocodiles have long served as the poster species for living fossils, and a prime illustration of how, in terms of evolution, the adage, "if it ain't broke, don't fix it," holds true. Around 250 million years ago, the Mesozoic era began, when the progenitors of current crocodiles started to roam the planet. By the late Cretaceous period, some 65 million years ago, amphibious predators resembling the crocodiles we see today lived in ancient wetlands and riverbeds. The physiology of crocodiles is said to have evolved as a result of the necessity to discover new hunting grounds because dinosaurs had monopolized the land. This is evidenced by their large muscular snouts, scaled armor, and small legs. Crocodiles developed to fit their new habitat as a way to escape this competition in the water. While the rest of the body is submerged, the crocodile's eyes, ears, and nose are located on top of its head, and its strong tail, which resembles a fin, provides both power and maneuverability in the water. The lineage of the species has diverged, despite evidence that current crocodiles have retained their morphology for millions of years. Crocodilians have evolved into many distinct species over time, including vegetarian animals that are very different from modern carnivores. 3. Tuatara. The tuatara, Sphenodon punctatus, which is now restricted to New Zealand, was once widespread. Prior to careful consideration and a fossil record dating back more than 200 million years, it was assumed that these lizard-like reptiles belonged to the lizard family. However, it has since been discovered that the tuatara is the only living member of an exclusive group of reptiles called Rhynchocephalia. There were 24 genera of Rhynchocephalia, but due to competition with other, more adapted reptiles like crocodiles, all but one went extinct roughly 100 million years ago. 4. Horseshoe crabs. Horseshoe crabs, despite their name, are more closely related to spiders and scorpions than they are to actual crabs. Instead, they are an arachnid, a class of invertebrate. But it's simple to mistake them because of their shell, which resembles that of a crustacean. Horseshoe crabs first began to stroll the bottom approximately 300 million years ago, and they have maintained their good looks ever since. Their evolution has been so gradual that, even though they are not exactly like their prehistoric relatives, they have been given the name living fossils. These armored arachnids are challenging prey for both modern and ancient predators, thanks to their sturdy horseshoe-shaped shells. Horseshoe crabs have a long, spine-like tail that serves as a rudder even though they are not recognized for their swimming prowess and are more frequently observed scrambling from the water. This serves as a lever to turn them right side up if they ever find themselves on their back. Swarms of Atlantic horseshoe crabs migrate onto the beach to reproduce every summer along shorelines throughout America. 5. Coelacanth. You might be fortunate enough to witness a living fossil swimming close to the seafloor if you take a deep dive into the African waters surrounding the Comoros Islands. They are difficult to miss at up to 2 meters long. Coelacanths, which were formerly believed to be extinct, have survived the test of time and have stayed physically similar for more than 360 million years. There are currently 2 species of coelacanth, Latimeria menadoensis, which lives in deep seas off Indonesia, and Latimeria chalumnae, which lives on the seafloor off the east coast of Africa. Their fins are what distinguish these enormous fish. Modern bony fish are usually ray-finned, which means that the spines on their flippers are formed of bone. Only two types of fish have lobed fins, including coelacanths. Lobe fins contain an internal bone structure that has led scientists to hypothesize that their ancestry may be connected to the evolution of tetrapods, four-limbed vertebrates, much like how human leg bones connect to our pelvis. But the lobed fin was the closest this fish came to having legs. The lungfish, a living fossil with lobe-finned lobes similar to those of the coelacanth, may be the answer to the puzzle of which species first abandoned fins for feet.